Hi, I'm Andie, and I write and tell stories. And the story I'm going to read to you today is all about two best friends. I bet you have a best friend, don't you? Well, this is about little A and her best friend. Are you sitting comfy? Okay. Little A's very best friend in the whole wide world was Tamara, or Tammy for short. She had a beautiful halo of white blonde hair, and Daddy used to say that when the two little girls stood next to each other, they looked just like night and day on account of Tamara's golden hair like the sunshine and little A's very dark hair like the nighttime. Little A thought Daddy was funny. Tamara often wore dresses with lots of ruffles and lace around the bottom, and she had white frilly socks and a pair of black patent shiny shoes that had a little strap and a pearl button on the side. And little A often felt very jealous because she wanted black shiny shoes with a button on the side and lots of frills and lace, but she had to make do with the cotton dresses that her mama made for her. But little A didn't mind too much because she knew that every stitch was sewn with lots of love, and that's what really mattered. Tamara lived in a pretty stone cottage near the campus where little A lived. She lived there with her mama and daddy and her three little sisters. Now let's see. There was Sarah Louise, we called her Lulu, who was so high, and then Molly, and the baby was Jill. And Mama said that those precious little sisters looked just like a set of Russian dolls on account of their rosy red cheeks. Tamara and little A loved nothing better than to play upstairs in Tamara's bedroom in the attic with their dolls. The roof in the attic was sloped like this because it was under the eaves. Now that's a word little A had never heard before, and for a while she went around saying it. Eaves. I'm going to live under the eaves one day. Tamara had a trundle bed in her bedroom. Now you might not have ever heard of one of those before because people don't tend to use them nowadays. But a long time ago, when people built and lived in log cabins, they might have had a trundle bed in the corner of the room because one family would all live together in one room. A trundle bed was very tall, and the mama and daddy slept on the top, and underneath was a little bed that could be pulled out on wheels where the children could sleep. And then during the day, when the bed wasn't needed, it could be pushed back out of the way. Tamara and little A played on her trundle bed, and one of their favorite games was the covered wagon. Ma, little A, and Pa, who was Tamara, would sit on the end of the bed on the big old feather mattress with their knees hitched up on the wooden frame as they held onto the horse's reins. All their dolls were piled up behind them under a blanket, just like a real covered wagon of long ago when the early pioneers headed west across the great prairies. Ma and Pa had many dangerous encounters with wild coyotes around their campfires under the stars, as they too went across the prairies looking for gold. "What's that, Ma?" whispered Pa, as he threw another log on the campfire. Ma listened. She couldn't hear anything except the crackle of the fire and maybe the stamping of the hooves and the soft breathing of the horses. "Why, 'tain't nothing but an old jackrabbit, Pa. Nothing to be afeared of, anyhow." "Are you sure?" asked Pa, as he paced back and forth around the campfire. "I know I hear the sound a-comin'. Look, listen, I can hear it. It's like a terrible screeching and a hollering. Sounds just like a coyote to me." "Look out!" cried Ma. "You're right, Pa. Here it is, coming straight for us. Why, it's a whole pack of coyotes. Quick, shoo 'em away before they get the horses." Ma and Pa leapt up from the campfire in the middle of the bedroom floor, waving their arms and making such a hullabaloo that whole pack of coyotes skedaddled with their tails between their legs, sure enough. Ha! That showed 'em. Yeah. Once or twice, Ma and Pa nearly got robbed by Billy the Kid himself, but they managed to fight 'em off with their bare fists. Course, Pa had to go get the sheriff and his posse, as Ma bravely tied the kid to a tree single-handed and stayed with the covered wagon, the horses, and the dolls, who were mighty scared. One of Little A and Tamara's other favorite games was Old Ladies. This is when they would have a tea party with their dolls and dress up as old ladies. I bet you like dressing up. It's a lot of fun. And Little A and Tamara had a big dressing up box in the attic, and they would pull out hats and gloves and a pair of high-heeled shoes maybe, or an old dress, and get all dressed up in it. And then they would lay an old bedspread on the bedroom floor and put little tiny dainty china teacups and saucers on the floor with their dolls. And then they would put on a very high croaky voice, like they thought old women had. "My, what a nice tea party," said the first old lady. "Yes'm, it surely is. Would you care for a slice of my fine angel food cake?" "Why, thank you kindly. I'll just have a finger of it. That's a sufficient plenty." Little A was particularly fond of wearing a shawl which she found in that dressing up box that looked a little bit like this one. Can you see the fringes? It was real pretty like this one. Because a shawl could be a lot of things when you're dressing up and playing make-believe. Why, it could be a shawl for Ma out there in her covered wagon under the stars, 'cause it gets mighty chilly at night out there. Or it could be an old lady shawl, or she could wear it like this, as an old lady. Underneath one of the windows in the attic on a little table was one of Tamara's most prized possessions, apart from her dolls, of course. It was a large basket, and not made of twigs and sticks, as you might think, but made of peppermint candy. And Tamara would reach up and hold onto it tightly and climb up onto the trundle bed with Little A, where they would put it on their laps very carefully and take turns to lick the peppermint handle. The basket had a big looped handle on it. They don't know why it was in Tamara's bedroom or how it got there. It just had been there forever. But they kept it a secret from Tamara's mommy because they were afraid she might take it away. Because, as we all know, too much candy is very bad for our teeth, isn't it? Anyhow, that peppermint basket stayed in there for the longest time. Until next time, bye for now.